For me, what I got out of it was that the point of when to walk away. Obviously, that is repeated a couple of times. And obviously, Halle Berry's in terms of her job, in terms of when is it time for you to walk away? And obviously, with Hemsworth's character, when is it time to walk away when it comes to how much money is enough money? This is definitely a film where I think it wasn't a build up to a heist, but it was more of a build up to the resolution that they were going to come to in their stories.
I think Mike is very much the person who is working towards a very specific goal, right? Like he's not really interested in being rich. He's not really interested in being successful or famous or anything like this. He just wants a certain type of life that is free from risk and danger. And he wants to have kind of the safety that comes with having a certain amount of money. But it does not seem to me like he wants like an extravagant life out of it, right? He does not want to live in a mansion or, have a private jet or anything like this. He just wants the security of I will be safe and I will be okay for the rest of my life. And that is because he comes from an orphan background. It taught Mike this idea that life is full of risk and danger and you could lose it all at any moment. And the goal in life is to be at the point where that is no longer something you have to be afraid of. And then that is contrasted with Sharon, whose business is risk and her ambition to make partner. She doesn't really want anything outside of reaching that goal, right? She already has a nice life. She's already making lots of money. She could do pretty much anything she wanted, but she doesn't consider herself as having arrived and having succeeded until she gets that promotion, because that's the target and the target is the only thing that matters. So these two, I think, are very similar in that way. And how they approach their work is kind of reflected by this. So Mike's entire thing is get to the finish line and take no risks along the way, whereas Sharon is more about get to the finish line and do what you need to do and fully commit to getting to that point. But she doesn't have this safety consciousness that Mike has, which is ironic because assessing risk is her business, right? But she seems to have no appreciation for the actual risk to her because she's been doing this job for 11 years and she's been promised promotions that never come, and she never incorporates that into her decision making. And it seems to come as a shock to her when she is turned down yet again, which seems to be fully predictable, and she doesn't have a plan B. Like, she completely panics when her goal moves out of sight. Like, as I was watching it, I was kind of thinking, like, shouldn't you have your CV ready to apply to like 4 competitors of your firm and take your customer? Like, she kind of threatens to do this, but she's clearly bluffing. She doesn't actually want to do that because in her mind there is no alternative to achieving the goal. Like, there's no plan B. So I do find it interesting how these two characters are constructed to be completely different on the surface in terms of how they work and what they do and how they live their lives, when really they are trying to achieve the same thing, but in very different ways. And they respond to deviations from the plan in very different ways as well.